like regarding the structure. So you have you got the PFF, and the PFF has its own president, and then you have Mr. Palami managing the men's national team. Have you seen any organization set up like that in other countries, especially regarding football?
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
think
mean,
here
this
in
is a
Malaysia
national
is
team and not a club. Do you,
yeah. I think in Malaysia is maybe similar with the princes and kings and stuff like that. That they might. I don't know with the national team. I cannot say it that hard, but
yeah,
I could imagine that it's happening here too, that they have some influence. But it's in, if it in a, let's put it this way, in a poor country where you don't have money in the federation,
yeah.
you always have to rely on somebody who has money. And if somebody has money, he has the power.
Well,
So he has
yeah,
the power to say, how I want this and I want to do this, I want to do that. And if the one has power and wants to be himself, then he doesn't change. Maybe that would even another reason why maybe I got too powerful.
yeah,
That he doesn't have the money anymore. Now I'm being so successful. Now it could be like, hey, now his weight goes down a little bit.
mm,
And that could be also an issue. I mean, in that case, when you have countries like that, it's about the money. The one who gives the money, the one has to say. If you don't have money anymore or you don't pay money, they find the next one. The next one comes in and says, I want to do this, this, and this.
yeah.
And then what does the federation do? Say, okay, we rely on this.
I
We
think
need that money to
so. It's
survive.
a culture thing because it's the same thing that's happening in other, sports. So you've got NSA, the National Sports Associations. You've got the badminton, and badminton's being run by a rich guy, businessman, and the same thing's happening in
Yeah.
another discipline, and that's what's happening in football. Do you agree with that though?
I think it's good. It is possible. I mean, I agree. Let's not that's possible. I think it's true. So I think that's how it is. You can call yourself a lucky person if you run an organization and you have somebody who spends money who's doing the right thing. He said, okay, let's invest
Yeah,
in a guy who's a marketing guy. Let's hire somebody who's a sponsorship guy. Let's hire somebody who's doing this and that and not doing everything on
yeah.
your own. That's a smart way to do it.
But
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 it has to
coach,
be, yeah,
coach, this is where the problem comes in. I mean, uh, you've got someone his money, and he's gonna say it's my team, it's my money. So he's got a right to say that, to say it's my team, it's because it's my money, and he
sure.
may make decisions that will not be good for the rest of the team.
Of course. I mean, that's why I think then you are right with it's a culture or a character situation. Look, when I played in the MLS, we had two guys who owned six teams.
Mm,
Do you think they bought the six teams just to want to be the big stars in the US? No, they believed in the sport. And they said we cannot let this sport die again because we want to succeed.
mm,
And Phil Anschutz and Lamar Hunt owned six teams. Anschutz four, Lamar Hunt two teams. The teams who before they couldn't handle it anymore, they didn't have the money. And he said, okay, if we stop right now, soccer will never happen in the US again. We believe in it.
yeah,
And they believed in doing it right. They had in the beginning it cost $5 million for a franchise fee or $15 million franchise fee, $5 million to run a club.
hmm,
They had to rent the stadium and all that stuff. Look what happened now. 22 teams. You have to pay $150 million franchise fee. You have to have a stadium that costs you minimum $250 million, and the operation is much more expensive too. And they have another 20 owners staying in line and want to be in there. That's what Lamar Hunt and Anschutz did, not because they want to be the big
yeah,
star. They believed in the
because they
sport.
believe in the
And
sport. Yeah,
if we could find individuals in the Philippines who believe in the sport and in the future of football in the Philippines, in the future you can make money.
yeah,
But we try to explain to the owners how do you make money in the league? How do you make money in a club? And they all said yes, 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 but didn't do anything. What did they do? Now they have to pay for the field, they have to pay for the games, they have to hire a stadium, they cannot sell drinks, they cannot do the merchandise, they can nothing. They're just paying. In the end, you're losing money. Ask Saris how much money he lost. Ask Kaya how much
Yeah.
money they lose.
Yeah.
Ask Stallion how much money they lose.
Yeah.
They don't make money. You
Saras,
make only your money when you have your own stadium.
I just want to share something about Saras. It's a great company. I was in the
Yes.
Philippines in 20. This was before COVID, and I wanted to bring my family to a football game. So we went to the RMS, the Rizal Memorial Stadium, and I was looking around because there's a Ceres game against a visiting team from I think Lao or something.
HC Cup or something?
Yeah, I think it's the AFC Cup, and so I wanted to support football. So I wanted to buy tickets. Yeah, looking around the stadium for a ticket booth, I couldn't find one, and then I found a guy wearing a
Yeah.
yellow shirt, one of the guys, one of the guards, and I said, "Hey, where can I buy a ticket here? We want to watch the game." They said, "No, no, tickets are free, right?" So they gave us tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I want to pay you. I want to pay for football because I want to
Yeah.
help football.
Yeah. It is something that, you can do it either way. If you can let somebody in for free, then the people don't have to pay anything, but you are
Yeah.
not gaining the sport. Everything that's free is not really doesn't have to be, great.
Yes, yes,
So you have to
because
ask for something. You make it special.
yes, that is
And
that
if
is
you have
correct.
yeah,
You're so
and
right.
you selling I always go on this owner from the Mavericks. Um, he said, he's not selling the sport. He's selling the experience.
Hmm.
So, and that's why you cannot, that's why you have to have in the beginning, if you want to change football in the Philippines, you have to have a football specific stadium.
Hmm.
You cannot have a track and field around
That's
because
true.
that is no experience. If you are 5 yards behind the goal, if you are 2 yards next to the sideline and you
I
hear
agree.
the players talk and crashing,
Yeah.
and you have a roof on top of it, because if you have 1,000 people making noise, how loud it is,
Yeah.
that is a total different experience that you have in Rizal Stadium. Rizal Stadium, you can't park anywhere. It takes you 2 hours to get there. And when you get there, you can't get any food. You can't, buy any
Yeah. You
merchandise.
can't buy
And
hot
you sit
dogs.
there, you sit there and you watch a bad game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact.
And
So
can I
there's
add
no
something?
experience there. Who wants to go there?
Also want to add, I watch football. I watch the PFL on telly. Yeah. Now I can't get a good view like on television. I mean to experience a good football, like to experience good football on television,
Oh,
you gotta have a good situation for your camera. You've gotta be
yeah.
able to put it in a great spot where football aficionados and those who are crazy about formations. You can't see the formations
Yeah.
because you gotta move the camera
Yeah,
around. You gotta keep panning it left and right, and you gotta follow the ball. It's gotta
yeah,
be
but
it's gotta
it's a
be on
deep,
a
it's
good vantage point where you can see half the
yeah, it's
field.
and it is a deeper issue because they cannot sell to TV. They cannot sell. When you see that we have the most important game in the Philippines, and they're setting up the cameras on the main stage and showing the rest of it empty. I mean, you
Yeah,
have to say, how crazy is that? If you wanna promote football, you have to put the cameras on the other side that you see a full
that's
packed
true. Yep.
stadium, and they didn't. On the other side, you could not sell it because we had no bleachers, we had no
Yeah.
seats, and you are not allowed to sell tickets on no seats. So what the heck is why not putting that on the other side, the cameras and all that stuff, and do it? Because you know why?
Why?
Because they have no clue.
Yep.
They have no clue. Those individuals, they want to do something, and it's I don't understand. And if they say, oh, we don't have electricity over there, you drive a car over there, like a van, where they go. No, that's what they do in Germany
Right.
everywhere.
Are you
You
serious
had a
about
side of
that?
the satellite car, whatever. Huh?
Okay. So you're serious about that, driving a car over there?
I mean, how many, look, like every TV station
Yeah.
has a truck where they have all the electricity and all
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
cables and
Yeah, yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff
I
in
know what
there.
you're talking
You
about now.
drive
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
other side and you take that 10 yards cable out and you put all your cameras on that side over there.
Yeah.
And you can sit there, you have somebody sitting in there and you have two, three cameras and they producing the game.
Well, which
That's what they do everywhere.
now this brings me
How much does that
now
cost?
this brings me to my last question. Okay.
I
So
have one more answer too
okay,
to
okay,
one thing
okay. Go.
because just want to what the big issue is also with why we couldn't train in a stadium
Yeah.
on the 16, 17,
Hmm.
18s because we didn't pay the bill for training the camps before in the games. We're talking about maybe $1,500, $2,000.
So this bill is supposed to be shouldered by PFF. The PFF gets funding from FIFA.
The thing, yeah, but FIFA pays from the 19th to the 28th, but they don't pay from the 16th to the 19th. And 16th to the 19th, we had to pay the stadium in Rizal, but it wasn't the biggest game of the year. Wasn't important enough to pay the bill from months before
Wow.
that we could train in there. That's you have to think about what's going on here. How sad that is.
And look, so the PFF before like in 2010, there was a big. I'm sure you've read about it
Of
when
course, Suzuki, yeah.
when you considered I mean before considering coaching the Philippines, you would have done your research. Then you would have read about what happened in 2010 when the Philippines couldn't play their home game against Indonesia. Yeah, and there was
No, they
allegations.
could. They couldn't. Why couldn't they?
Well, it was during the Suzuki Cup, and this was the first time that the Philippines, uh, beat Vietnam, and Vietnam was the defending champion at the time, right? So the Philippines beat
Yeah.
Vietnam, and they found themselves in the semis, right, against
Yeah.
Indonesia. So the first game was, so the semis was a home and away format, right? So the
Yeah.
first game was played
Yeah.
in Indonesia. 3 days later, they were
Yeah.
supposed to go back to Manila to play a home game, and
Yeah.
everyone was excited about
Yes.
it. But they didn't play a
Yeah.
home game because there was no suitable stadium to play it at. So they played it
Are
again
you
in
sure?
Indonesia. Yeah, yeah, it happened in 2010 Suzuki Cup. So
No, no, no. Are you sure no suitable stadium, or
well,
they wanted to play over there
that's what
because they make more
that's
money?
what they said in the media. Well,
I know.
and also yeah, I understand. Yeah, bigger stadium in Indonesia. So
Yeah.
the thing is, what I'm really driving at is there was allegations of corruption in the PFF in 2010 and before 2010 because anything before 2010 is the dark ages of Philippine football because there's hardly any articles about football. Okay. In 2010, the PFF tried to be more what do you call it transparent. So any monies they receive from sponsors, they would tell the media. So they were very transparent. They were telling everyone how much money they've got and whenever they get funding from FIFA. But now they're quiet about it. And now you're telling me they can't even pay. They won't even foot the bill for the 16 and 17. I just find it well strange and also
I'm
not
telling.
surprised.
Yeah. I'm not surprised if they do something like this, but I was surprised that they're not paying the coach the money that he deserves.
And yeah, and I'm really sorry you had to have that experience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's sad. I feel I'm disappointed. I'm very very disappointed. That people do this, and you find that in every country, people like that. It's. I'm just saying. I just have to go through the whole process with lawyers and all that stuff just to get to get things right. And people should know that there's an issue, and that's it's not it's just me. Look at the global. How many players from global didn't get paid? How many
yeah,
coaches run after their money?
Yes,
Why?
yep. Uh,
They have to think about, is that good for the federation
yeah,
to have that kind of, if nobody talks about it, sure. Keep it under the table and all that stuff. It's just
yeah.
not, it's not right,
Well, yeah,
you know?
it's something that needs to be talked about more often and more vigorously. You know,
Yeah,
and I'm
I
glad
mean, here in
you brought it up. So
yeah. We are in Vietnam. It's a beautiful time in Vietnam. I mean, I came here as a sports director. After 23 years, we won a championship. How organized everything is over there. It's a powerhouse for the future because they do a lot of things right.
yeah,
Philippines could do something too,
yeah,
but they have to have the right people to do
yeah,
it.
yeah. Vietnam's really they're on the ball.
Yeah, it was great. The
they're
year
very impressive.
experience was
Now,
perfect.
Coach,
I love that.
I just wanna backtrack a little bit. You mentioned earlier about having that football experience, and you mentioned that we don't really have a football specific um, stadium. Now, okay, so we're missing some of that stuff. We don't have the a proper football stadium. What about the culture? Like, is there a football culture during your stay over there? Do you notice a football culture
Yeah, I think.
that's Filipino? That's very uniquely Filipino, or
Yeah, I think there is football culture, but you have to wake them up. You have to let the people know things happen. But you couldn't read anything about Philippines football. You couldn't read anything about Ascals. There were ops. There were times that we could have huge billboards, but we didn't do it. Why
yeah,
not? Why not?
hmm,
Because I mean, I know why, and it's sad, but
yeah.
it's just, if you don't do it right, you could have
Well,
people asking me everywhere. When we qualified,
can
people
you?
that I don't know, I passed by, never said anything. I walked by, they said, "Thank, congratulations, coach." I was like, "Oh,
Coach,
this guy know?"
coach, can you tell us why? I mean, what's the is there a problem with with the way Philippines football is run? Is it the federation? Is it the culture, or a lack of Philippine football culture?
It's many things. I don't want to get into
Yeah, no, no.
details.
There's
I'm
no
sorry.
easy answer to that, coach.
No, it is easy to change. It
Yeah.
is easy to make it right. It is easy to make it right.
Yes. Yes. I
You have to
agree.
make the right decision. You have to make the right decisions and put football in first place. How can we how can we develop a football nation and then listen to people who might have an idea and then just find out, is it a better idea? And not like doing my way or the highway.
Yeah.
I have a vision. Football in the Philippines will be great one
Oh,
day.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there are like five, six things that you have to put in place, and then you have to do it right.
So
Those kind of
what are
things need
those
to fall
things,
in
coach?
place.
Can you give us maybe a couple that
I know it's the same. You have to include everybody. You have to include the media. You have to include the fans. You have to include the sponsorship,
yeah.
the companies. You have to include the cities. You have to have a city. You have a
Yeah.
stallion. Oh, Sellers, FC Sellers. What is FC Sellers?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's a
no.
company.
That's true.
You cannot have a company. You have a FC Clark or maybe Clark United,
Yeah.
and the people in Clark, they are
They will
they
rally.
are happy with the
Yeah.
city and they will drive the city. You get the companies involved in the city. You get
Yeah.
this, you get sponsors, and you have your own stadium. You get your football specific stadium you can build for $2 million. You can do every weekend, you can have a concert coming in, you're making money. You can rent it out to schools, you can rent it out to clubs, you can rent out the money. You don't have to pay for training, you don't have to pay for your academy training, you
Mm.
don't have locker rooms, you have everything in there, you have VIP rooms, you have your own provider for food, and you have your parking tickets that you can get. You can sell VIP tickets. Suddenly you're making money. And when you have that, you have billboards or stuff like that, or you have sideboards in the stadium. Now you can say every game comes live on TV, and your board is right there on the corner. It costs you this and this and this. Now you're making money. If you go to a stadium, say, oh no, you cannot put banner up because it's a college stadium, or you have this, and it's not right. And you have to you have to invite those companies, but you have to talk to them.
Hmm.
We could have sold 6,000 tickets in 1 hour
Yeah.
for the World Cup game, for
Yep.
the first World Cup game, and we didn't.
Yep. Yep. That was
6,000
it's
tickets.
it's a World Cup qualifying match, and there's hardly any people. That
Yeah.
was very disappointing. And we
Yeah,
won, and
because
we
of
won
why?
that
Because
match.
nobody has a chance. Yeah, nobody has a chance to get those tickets. In 1 hour, I would have 6,000 tickets. Somebody wants to buy 6,000 tickets. What do? You're gonna sell them right there. 5 minutes later, gonna sell the tickets. Everything has to go through a process.
Hmm.
And then in the end, it doesn't work out.
Wow.
So there are a lot of things that because I love football, like I said, and I mean you can hear
Look,
that, and
does
I think it's sad that it doesn't work out in
does
the
does the
Philippines.
does the PFF have a marketing division? Like
I don't
how do they
know.
tell people that, hey, we have a football team, or
I don't
we
know.
have this event activities for this month. Come and join. Bring your
I don't
kids.
know.
Nothing like that.
I don't know. I was no. I was bringing in people in the beginning, and then I was like, I'm trying to change everything. I said I should concentrate on my training, and I
Hmm.
said okay. Then I didn't do anything anymore,
Wow. Well, coach,
and then
look,
everything fall apart.
look. That's all the time we have. So look, thank you for for sharing your story here on Pinoy Radio, coach. It was a real pleasure. Thank you so
Okay, no
much.
problem.
I'll yeah.
Anytime.
Well, we'll catch up with you again. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
Take care.